Hello. Hello, people of the world. I am back after a long tour of India. It was amazing. I just move you down a little bit. I hope you can hear me. Nice to see you, nice. Let's just make sure you guys can hear. So nice to be back. In Europe, in live. I tried my best to broadcast the talks live from India, but it was possible for a while, and then the internet. It wasn't the internet was bad in Goa. It's that too many people were using it, so I think the big poles couldn't cope with those big round balls on them, called satellites. Let's just make sure this is working. Let's see. Yes, there it is. Nice. Let's make sure the sound is working. With those big round balls on them. Yes, it is working. Very good. I'm doing it a different way today. I'm doing it from my phone because I go through phases of things, but I realise I like the audio from my phone at the moment. So that's what I do it from. Just make it a little bit straighter. But I'll go out of that phase and then I'll move back to my computer. I'm a Gemini. I go through phases. And I thought the light is beautiful in here today. So when I begin my talk, I always like to start in silence. And so if you would join me in a bit of silence, I would appreciate that. You might be able to see Khaleesi in the background there if I move a little. Nope. So, duality versus non-duality. What is that? Duality versus non-duality. It's weird not doing the talks without an audience, to being here alone. I've got so used. I did something like 30 to 40 talks when I was in India, and I got very used to there being an audience of people. Okay, so it's now just myself again. I'm just talking to myself. Oh yeah, I have to do advertisements before we begin. So if you want to come and meet me and listen to me talk live, I think maybe the talks live are not better, but more succinct, because when I've actually got people in front of me, it reminds me to stay on subject, and I'm interacting with their energies and replying to their energies. So there's this element of staying focused, whereas when I do online talks, it's gets a bit more chaotic. I get distracted by Khaleesi, I get distracted by all types of things that are around me, by something that somebody writes. Whereas when I'm doing live talks, I'm just totally there with people asking me questions. So events that I'm going to do, I'm going to be at a conference, but I think the conference is sold out now, so I don't think there's any chance to go to it. It's in northern Germany, on the Baltic Sea, I think. It's at an ashram. It's not just me, it's other speakers there as well. That's on my website. And there is another event the weekend after, that's the end of March, so I can't remember the dates at the end of March, where I'm doing talks in Berlin. That's the last weekend, I think, in Berlin, the last weekend in March in Berlin. Then I'm doing a retreat over Easter in the south of Spain. I think it starts the 18th of April, and it's that Easter weekend. You're very welcome to join me at that. And then I'm doing a retreat in northern Germany in August. And it's an open retreat, the one in August, which means that you can stay where you like. So if you are on the poorer spectrum or less income spectrum, then you can camp. You can find camping, you can find Airbnb, cheaper hotels, and if you're really rich and you want super luxurious, then you can buy that as well. So normally I do retreats where it's all inclusive, but this gives the option for people to pick whatever they like. They can stay on the venue, or they can stay close to the venue, or they can commute. That's in northern Germany, and it's a spiritual hotel, which I think is really beautiful. So it's like a hotel and spa, and you can pick everything. So you can make it as cheap as you like or as expensive as you like. You can have a spa package, you can have the food package, or you can have none of that, just the talks. That's exciting. So we've got those 3 events, and it looks like I'll be doing talks in Norway in July, but we're just still sorting that out. So that is my schedule. Other things I do, you can also book one-to-one sessions with me on my website. Normally in the one-to-one sessions, I either talk about non-duality with the person, or I help them work through things they're stuck on the human level, and help them reflect and find different ways of dealing with it and relaxing that seeking energy that's always looking to time for the solution. And I will do an online event soon, an online retreat soon, but I haven't organised that yet. You can sign up to my website, and then you'll get emails telling you when I do these things. It's like a blog. And you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you turn on the little bell, and then you'll get emails when I go live. But I normally go live every Sunday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. French time, but always check my website, because sometimes I'm traveling like 2 months in India in the events I've mentioned this year. What else? That is all. And if this is your first time on the live stream, the way that you ask questions is through Skype, and my Skype address is Lisa Cairns 12. It's in the box below, so just look and find that, and you can send me a Skype request and ask me written questions, or you can call in. Isn't that exciting? Yes, it is. Okay. Now, duality versus non-duality. So when I speak about non-duality, or when I do these talks, I talk about two different things, which most people think are the two same things, but they're actually two different things. I talk about non-duality, which is the reminding of who you are, which is love, freedom, wholeness. And then I talk about the personal self, and I look at the dynamics of the personal self and the seeking patterns of the personal self. And most people think that the personal self, you work on the personal self and you work on the dynamics of the personal self, and then you release like the issues, the karma, the tendencies of that personal self, and then that person becomes enlightened. But that personal self becomes enlightened. That's not the way of it. Sanippa. It is not the way. The personal self doesn't become enlightened. The more that you explore ideas and concepts, the more that you see there isn't actually a solid entity that resides inside the body. So there isn't someone that wakes up, there isn't somebody that makes it, and it's not about becoming a perfect person. The reason that I look at the personal tendencies is sometimes the seeking energy can become so intense that it elongates into time and it makes the suffering a lot worse. And so I try to focus on relaxing that. And then there can be an exploration of something else when there's a relaxing of that. So what does non-duality versus duality mean? I think there's a really sweet way that I could describe this, and that is a way that Ramesh Balsekar explained it when I used to go and visit his talks. At least I think it was him, but from what I can remember, it was him that explained me this. He explained to me, or to the group, about the idea of the cross, so Jesus's cross. And he said that the horizontal line represented time. So the line like this represents time and the person and past and future and the story of you, where you've been, where you're going to, the story of others. It's like this horizontal line in time. And then the other line is the vertical line, which is the line of truth, the line of non-duality. So this one is the non-duality and this one is the duality. And in the middle they meet. And when Jesus was hammered onto the cross, his heart met in the middle. So his heart was where the two crosses went across. So he's on the cross like that, and it goes, the cross is where his heart is. So the vertical line is non-duality, and the vertical line is only here. That's what he means by the vertical line, like it doesn't go into time. Non-duality isn't a time-bound dynamic. Non-duality is here, it's present. It never moves in time, it's still, and time moves in it. Maybe I'm being too complicated, so let me go back. So what we think is we think that we've arrived in this moment. So humans think, I arrived here, I came from the past and I arrived in the present moment. But you've always been in the present moment. You've never arrived in the present moment. You've always been here. You never came from the past and finally made it. Like, you've never experienced anything called past. You've always experienced present moment, present moment, present moment, present moment, and it's not changing. What changes in the present moment is the scenery, the thoughts, the feelings, the ideas, the smells, the sounds, the touch. But the present moment doesn't change. Presence doesn't change. It's always here. It's never moved. So Ramesh Balsekar used to call that the vertical line of what is. That this is who you truly are, what's always been, which makes sense. Because if you think about it, what is, this moment is what you've always been. You've never been something that arrived from the past. You've never been something that's going into the future. That's always been your imagination. It's never been the reality of the situation. It's been imagining. So who you are, who you truly are, is this horizontal line of presence. And that's the essence, it's the birthright. Let me just turn this light down. I'm beginning to glow. So that's who you've always been. Is presence. It was your birthright. You didn't ever have to switch on presence, be like, hang on, let me just turn this moment on. I know you most probably think that you wake up in the morning and it's your activity, but you've never done anything to be present. It's happening. The reason why you think you're not present is because you're imagining yourself in time and you're imagining that you're thinking and you're not actually here, you're lost in thought. But that's a different subject. You've always been here, even if you're lost in thought. It's always been this moment. It's never been past. It's never been future. It's always here. Future and past are always imagination. Ramesh used to say that is the vertical. It doesn't move, it's right here, full stop. Boom. And then he would say the horizontal line is your imagining. It's your timeline, it's the apparent story. So the horizontal line is the imagining, so it's the apparent duality. So the vertical is non-duality and the horizontal is apparent duality, but it never really exists, duality, but it appears to exist. So it appears, and we're meant to be able to speak like this. We're not meant to just say, oh, it's all illusion, it doesn't matter. We appear as if there's been time. To Khaleesi, there is no time. She has some form imaging of time, of memories, but most of the time she hasn't got the complicated thinking to be able to think about it. So she's just here. She's like, this is all there is, but she doesn't even know this is all there is because she can't compare it to what's not. So she's just like, here I am, here I am. Whereas we can imagine where our bodies have been and come from. So we can imagine that earlier we were sitting doing some work in the office and then we moved the body here and we're sitting here. And we can imagine our childhood and complicated things that have happened in our life, complicated dynamics with family members, complicated stories. We can hold it all in what we think is our brain, but we're not sure where we hold memories. Scientists can't even find where memories are. They suspect it's all over the body. But we have that, and our memory is amazing. Like, we can just smell something and then all this images and ideas and creativity can come. Our thinking is incredible. Then we can imagine future. So you can imagine, okay, after this talk, I'm going to most probably go for a walk with Khaleesi around the block, and I will look at the moon, and the moon is very big. As last night it was very big, but tonight it will be a little bit smaller because it's not full moon tonight. And then I will have my dinner, which is pizza, because last night I had pizza with friends and then they gave me some pizza, some leftover, and I have it in my fridge and I'm really looking forward to it. And I might have a sausage with it as well. Vegetarian, of course. I don't want to promote the eating of poor, beautiful animals or rich, beautiful animals, whichever way you look at it. And tomorrow I will go to the bank and go to get my VAT done on my car, as I'm importing my car into France. And the guy at the tax office said that to me, and I understood it in French when he told me, even though I might have missed some bits, but I understood as he explained my taxes to me and how to import my car. I was very impressed with myself. I couldn't respond much though, because I still can't speak very good French. But I can comprendre. I just learned today that there's comprendre and then there's comprendre. Oh well. Speaking is another thing. And I can imagine all types of things. I can imagine that I was in England. I can imagine the things that I'm going to do this year, and we can talk about it. And we can have like these complex societies and complex communications and relationships and share ideas and dreams and images and what we're going to do and all these different types of things. And all of it creates emotion. Just our imagining of a positive event creates all these beautiful emotions in the body. That is apparent duality, but it's only apparent, it's not fact. The birds aren't like tweet, 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 tweet. Tomorrow I'm going to the sauna. When I go to the sauna, we don't wear any clothes when we're in Germany or France, but when we go to England, we have to wear clothes. They're just like tweet, 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 tweet. And all there is tweeting, because they haven't got a big enough brain to be able to imagine anything else than what's actually happening. So they're so close to God. They're really intimate and in love with God. They are just God. And they're just singing for no reason. They haven't got like, oh, well, I'm singing because one day I'm practicing to be, top singer at a cathedral in Rome. They're just singing for the love of it, for no reason, because it's happening. Whereas we can think about all these things, and then, sadly, tragically, we get lost in what we think. We get lost in this horizontal, and we believe that that horizontal timeline is all there is. And we become more and more unhappy because we become a limitation, where our essence, the vertical line, is limitless, it's boundless, it's wonder, it's potential creativity. But we become lost in this idea of ourselves, and we more and more try to get out of it. But the more we try to get out of it, the more we limit ourselves, and then we get into something called suffering. And then the first noble truth that the Buddha taught has to be realized, that life is suffering when there's identification, because you identified with something that's not true. You identified with this fiction that humans make up in order to have relationships and communicate and create a complex society and do really complicated things, but it's not reality. But people believe that their waking dream, that their imagination is absolute reality, and it's not. It is not. Reality is here. It is the vertical line. I always get confused between the vertical line and the horizontal. It's dyslexia. It's just part of having a dyslexic brain. I'm not in any way saying it's bad, it's beautiful. My mind is so imaginative, but it gets things confused. I still can't tell left and right. The way that I can tell left and right is so weird. I don't understand how people know what left and right is. But the way that I know it is this. Left. Most people think that's a sign for loser, but it's actually the sign for left. We go left. L. You see? L. Left. That's how I know. L. That's an L to me if you look at it. Oh, it's all back to front on the camera. But that is an L. That means left. That doesn't work that way. That's the wrong L, the wrong way round. That's the L. So that's how I know left. But being part of a dyslexic mind, it does funky things to you, and you can't always get things right. But it always creates a lot of laughter for other people. So vertical and horizontal is not natural for me to know, no matter how much I try to train myself. But people give me these like imaginative, creative ideas of ways to remember things. And my friend taught me the way to remember horizontal is whore lying down. Now I know that's most probably really sexist and un-PC, but it was whore lying down and it worked. That image worked. Horizontal is whore lying down. It was a male friend. I apologize to any feminists out there listening. Normally I'm on the side of feminism, but sometimes with these images and these ideas, you have to take what's on offer, and that is what works for me. Whore lying down. Vertical and whore lying down. I now feel a little sad for feminists. Oh, well. Okay. So that's non-duality versus duality. Duality is something we made up. It's a human thing. And the way that we made it up is through opposites. So the dog doesn't have opposites. Can you see her? Can you see the ears? Now I know a lot of people have written to me and complained and asked me to stop doing this. I would be more popular if I stopped singing to the dog, but there she is. Anyway, Khaleesi hasn't got the imagination to think in words. She doesn't know right from wrong. She doesn't know that it's wrong to eat chicken, so she eats chicken. She doesn't know that her skin is black and that there is white, that there is up or down or tall or short or big or small or fat or thin. She doesn't know any of that. All that she knows is what is, and she has some vague images about some things. But I think it's mostly smell. I don't think she really imagines it. I think there's a smelling thing going on. Hello, my beautiful girl. Aren't you so beautiful? Yes, you are. She's so beautiful. So, what was I going to say? So Khaleesi doesn't think that she is a good dog or bad dog, or that she came from the past and's going to the future. She has no ability to think like that. The same with the bird, the same with the bees, the same with the trees or the sky. It doesn't think in all these words. We know tree because it's not grass. We know tree because it's not a flower. We know dog because it's not a cat. Our words work on duality, on opposites. Non-duality means no to, not to. So we made up, it's our brains, and if we thought in a different way, then we wouldn't think in duality, maybe we'd think in triality. I don't know what that is, I just made it up, but I'm trying to think of a triality. Quaterality. We're thinking in a quaterality. And if we got other senses, we would think and evolve in different ways. It's really hard for us to imagine because we've only got the imagining of opposites. Let me just switch the light on. It's a little dark in here. Pardon. Making you maybe feel a bit sick as I walk around, looking for my lights. I have a complex lighting system here. Lots of lights. Oh, fuck. Oops, sorry, guys. You see, if I'm doing a live talk, this doesn't happen because I stay still. I just sit there and talk to people and face them. But if I'm here by myself, I do all these distracted things. So the reason to come to a live talk is because I sit still for 2 hours and I just talk. If you don't believe me, you can watch the videos from Goa that I posted last week. I sit there the whole 2 hours, and sometimes longer. Whereas when I'm by myself, I get creative. Okay, well, that's the difference between duality and non-duality. I hope that's clear for everybody, but if it isn't, then you can now ask me questions on Skype. My Skype address is Lisa Cairns 12, and just sign up for Skype and you can send me a message now. This is where I go in and there's no questions. Oh, there is quite a few questions. Hi, Laurie. Hey, nice to see you, Laurie. Nice to see you, nice. Let's see how we can do this. I'm gonna put it here. Hi, Carmela, nice to see you. Thank you, Lisa, for all the videos from India. It was wonderful. virtually being there with you. With pleasure, Carmela. Nice to hear from you. Hi, Vitrio. Lisa, good day. Are you streaming today? Lisa, can I call you? Can I call you when you can, please? Yes, you can call Vitrio. Vitrio. Just call when you're ready. Hi, Naj. Hey, Lisa. I didn't get to say goodbye to you in Rishikesh, but I wanted to tell you how beautiful it was. Hey!
Hey!
Hello.
Hello.
Have you got your headphone and your microphone in?
Yeah, I have my headphones.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. How are you? It's not very good quality, but I think that people.
Where the router is.
Sorry.
I'm trying to move to the room where the router is.
Okay, but I think it might be your microphone. It's kind of like not so good. Let's try.
Sorry, I don't have any other things.
Yeah, it might not be good enough for people, and I don't want to.
Wait, I just found a microphone here with a headphone.
Okay, great. Why don't you phone me back when you've done it, because it's just really bad sound for us. Okay, thank you. Okay, so nudge. And bathe in all the love. I had a dream recently where I woke up with the words singing out of love is speaking. Big hugs and see you as a baby Buddha next time. Love, love, love. That's so beautiful, Nudge. I know I kept meaning to write to you to say goodbye, because I didn't say goodbye, and we didn't manage to go out for lunch either, which I'd have liked to have done. But yeah, it was really nice to meet you and your partner, so say hello to your partner as well. Hi, Juna. Hey, Lisa. Are you at sea? It sounds like you are. Lisa, if that's true, please don't be sick. Lisa, you speak so fast. Hello?
Hello?
Hi.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, it doesn't work. Alright, I'll write you an
Okay. Lisa, you speak so fast. I love you, but please don't speak so fast. But if you're at sea, please don't sink. Okay. Horizontal. Horizon, that helps me. That is such a better way to remember it. That is such a better way to remember it as horizontal. As horizon rather than whore lying down, but that's what stuck in my mind. Hi, good to have you back. Lisa, I think you also say that life is meaningless, it has no purpose. But then why does life exist? Couldn't there be nothing at all? Yeah, I do say life is meaningless, but I say it less nowadays, not because I don't feel it and know it to be true. Like, it's not that it's true because it's a word, but I know that people misunderstand me, but what I'm trying to point to is that life doesn't have meaning, inherent meaning in it. Like, whatever you think is just thoughts, it's just opinion. It doesn't mean that it's true, it's an expression, it's like poetry. So it's not that this chair is actually a chair, that's what we label it as humans. So everything is meaningless. So if you've got an idea that you're living your life because you need to help others, just remember that you made up all those words. You made up the idea of help. Khaleesi doesn't know help or not help, but yet if I were in danger, she would run to my aid, but she doesn't know that story. Her life isn't meaning something. Her life isn't my life is for a purpose. Her life is what it is right here, right now. And there's such joy and freedom and beauty in that, if that can be remembered. The life is here and life is free right here. It's without any meaning. What happens in most humans is they identify with time and then they put meaning to everything, and that meaning becomes negative because of the nature of the mind and because they begin to suffer. So they keep imagining negative things. They keep imagining that life has no meaning, it's dark, bad things will happen, or there's no meaning to it, so it's pointless. Not what's being said here at all. That's your interpretation. That's what your mind did to those words. You got into the story yourself that life is meaningless. And you got into that thought pattern that there is darkness, that if life doesn't have meaning, if life doesn't have purpose, then it's dark, then it's void, or it's negative. That's your interpretation of it. That doesn't mean that's the way life is. Life is free without any limitations, without any words placed on it, without any boundaries. Even your energetic boundary of feeling like you're inside of the body is an imagination that's become sort of a reality because you've said it so many times to yourself, you feel it. So just like when you imagine there's a really disastrous situation or really fearful situation, so say if you're sitting at home and then you have a fear that something bad, your body becomes all fearful, so you feel it in the body. This is the same with the energetic sense of you. You've imagined so many times that you're sitting on a sofa and you're inside this body, that that's what you energetically feel. And that's not true. That's not the way it is. Life is meaningless. Life does not have inherent meaning in it. It's free. It's wondrous. That is not dark, and that is not negative, and that's not depressing. It's only depressing to a person that's always been taught to find their meaning in words. And that will always be self-defeating and hollow and shallow. Because what is it you truly want? What you truly want is love, and that's not a word, that's not a story, that's your feeling, that's your sense, that's your way of being, that's your heart, that's present, that's here. It's not a story. You feel love when you tell yourself a story because it's a beautiful image, but you feel the love here. It's not belonging to that story, it's not inherent in those weird words, it's right here, it's present. It's who you are. And sometimes it gets stronger and sometimes it's less, but it's there all the time, glowing gently in the background, loving itself. And I'm curious regarding your family. Do you have family members who are interested in non-duality? Do they contact you and talk? And how do you manage family members that are asleep? Do you have contact with them? Thanks so much. Kisses from Romania. Normally when people ask me questions about my personal life, what they're doing is they're asking questions like, how do I deal with difficult family members? So I can talk about my family members. No, none of them are interested in non-duality. Sometimes they express interest because they see that there's people interested in what I speak about on the internet, but they think it's madness or craziness and they just avoid the subject generally, and I don't preach at them. The only thing I do is I confront them and myself about dynamics that we hold. Like, so if we're dishonest, that's not really non-duality. So, yeah, I confront them about certain things like dynamics between us and things. So basically, I suspect what you're asking is how to deal with other people that don't see the world in context of non-duality. And I would say surrender to it. On the human level, surrender. Like, that's the way it is. They see the life the way they see the life, and that's their karma. And it's your karma to have them in your life. It's your karma to deal with that. And you've got to find out in you what resists that. Like, what is the pain about it? Like, I used to find it really painful to see people suffering, and I still find it painful, but I just find it painful now in the moment, and I don't have attached ideas too much to it, so I don't feel too guilty about it. Sometimes I feel like I can't express my joy when somebody's suffering too much around me, which is a limitation most probably, like a limited way of this body-mind thinking. But generally, I accept, or there's a surrender here, that people have their karma and their story to live out. And just because they're related to me by blood doesn't mean that I have to have dysfunctional relationships with them, or I have to just stay silent or avoid dynamics or become super free so I don't react and I can take all their shite. It's the same, identified or not. You have to deal with human relationships, and you have to find a way where you're both being honest and genuine and open and loving. And if they keep repetitively not doing that, then you have to distance yourself. But that's the same whether you're into non-duality or not. You've got to find your peaceful way in which to deal with other humans. And the best thing about it is it's most probably reflecting to you your issues and your vulnerabilities and your weaknesses. Like, I don't think that this life is by accident. On one way, it's spontaneously creating right here, right now, just out of nothing, for no reason and no purpose. But in another way, everything that confronts you, everything that challenges you, is always something that opens you up and helps you expand in the storyline. So really, anything that's confronting or difficult in the family relationships is the opportunity to grow and to expand your ideas and expand your way of being. What we're taught, though, in life, and what's unfortunate for humans currently, is that we often use these things to shut ourselves down. So if somebody is, say, passive-aggressive to you in your family, you just use it to shut you down rather than to explore, like, how does that make me feel? Like, what do I want to change about that relationship? What would I prefer? How am I seeing them? Did I encourage that passiveness? Am I playing part in it? And then you begin to see that you're more than likely invested in some way in that relationship and playing part of it. And there's something that you can learn and grow from in that. Everything is an opportunity. The more that you begin to see this on the human level, the more that you'll become balanced and healthy and vibrant and alive. Everything is an opportunity to grow and expand, always, endlessly. This universe can infinitely expand, and so can the personality structure, so can knowledge, so can conditioning, so can genetics. Isn't that super? And that makes you feel good, right? The idea and the feeling of expansion always makes you feel good, because that's what they're programmed to do. Just like the tree is programmed to grow towards the light. So everything is an opportunity. Identification with the person often becomes with limitation. Like, so you are a thing, you are something solid, and that's already a limitation, but then you build all these other limitations. I am bad, I am good, I am right, I am beautiful, I'm ugly, I'm tall, I'm nasty, I'm passive-aggressive. And then we form this identity, and then we stop flowing our natural dance. We stop dancing the dance of us, and we begin to dance this limitation of beliefs and ideas of who you believe yourself to be, and then your life begins to feel uncomfortable, so then you carry on forming all these ideas and adding things onto you. I've noticed with friends, so I'm now nearly 40, nearly middle-age. I maybe am already middle-aged, it's unknown until I die, but maybe middle-age if I live till 80, but you never know, in another 10 or 20 years we might invent longer lives, we might begin to have robotic organs or something. So I might be in my youth still. I might be in the small part of my life. Who knows? It could also be the end of my life. We don't know. This is an unknown thing. This is what makes this life so magical, is we don't know what's going to come. That's exciting. If we knew what was going to come, it would be very predictable. And we love this, as humans, we love this energy of unknowing. It's like childlike wonder. We pretend that we're afraid of it. We're like, we want to know, we want to know, we want to know. But there's also this excitement and this joy and this vitality in the unknown. What was I saying before that? I got distracted. You see, if I was in a live talk, I wouldn't be so distracted. I would stay with it. But I get a little bit fuzzy when I'm just talking to myself into a phone, because it's an abstract thing to do. It's easier to stay focused on something when you have a human face in front of you. But maybe that's a belief. Maybe I need to recondition that belief. I forgot what my point was. I just ramble on and I've forgotten where I started. I don't know. Did I start at the end, beginning, or the back? I can't remember what my point was. I'm lost. I think I was talking about identifying with limitation. Who you are is not a thing. That is a celebration. You are infinite. If you're not a thing, then you're everything. And that is freaking fantastic. That means infinite possibilities. That means everything is new, everything is fresh. And that this is mysterious and we don't know why it's happening. This wonder. This is wondrous. Let's Let's go back to the question to try to see where I was. Family. I don't mean life, I mean human race as planet Earth. Why would God create us? Why would God create life? Because of love. Because of love. This is an expression of love. It's the same reason why I write and why I speak. It's love. I write. I'm currently writing this book from animals' perspective, and I do it because I love it. I speak this because I love it. And it's the same reason as life, which is what I am. You can feel it when you begin to surrender and you just begin to dance. The dance, when the dance begins to dance you rather than you trying to dance the dance. I think I said that right. Then you see that it's all for love. This is a love affair. Isn't that beautiful? Because that's all you ever wanted on the human level was love. And it's what it's about, finding love. Namaste, Lisa. Namaste. I see God in you. What's your experience with medicine plants? Love from Chile. What is my experience with medicine plants? My experience is that I've taken them twice and they were very much like acid. Only twice though. And I know that that's offensive to the medicine community, but I found it very similar. Except I think that I had a lot more diarrhea on the medicine plants. I wasn't sick, but I think I had a good cleaning out of the bowels in the session, and afterwards I think I had a lot of diarrhea. But I found it really similar. I personally preferred LSD, I think. The plants came with sickness. I got told and informed that they were medicine and LSD was poison and a drug and that this was medicine, but that's my experience. I don't mean to be rude to anybody, and a lot of people say that cannabis is medicine too. I know that we made acid, but I suppose we are also plants, just moving plants, so maybe it's not so bad, but I don't know. I also expect people that do much of the plant stuff, medicine, behaved like drug addicts. I hung out with them for quite a period, and to me it looked like drug addicts. I think with all of these things, they can be expansive in the way they open you up to different dimensions, but I think also identifying with them or taking them too seriously or becoming an addict also can create limitation and smallness and tightness and stuckness. It's like everything, eh? But I'm not recommending drugs and doing drugs in any way, because if you thought I was, then I'm sure that you could tell somebody, and then maybe YouTube would be like, I'm just saying that it's an interesting experience, but they have dangerous effects too. Got myself out of that well, eh? Okay, my question is, I feel present all the time, and sometimes I feel to be the place where I am. At the same time, my life things aren't going well because I'm concentrated on the spiritual side. So I live this presence, this pain, which are locked by nothing. But I feel like I'm not serious enough with my own stuff, practical like stuff. Pardon me for burping. That was a very wet burp as well, I apologise. The practical, so the external life is a reflection of the internal life. Even though really, at the end, there's no difference. But while you split yourself up and you think that life is separate from you, then I will say that the internal world is reflected in the external world. So if you're having problems in the external world, it's more than likely that internally you're having problems. But there can be a sense of presence, and so there can be those waking ups and the sense of presence, but psychologically the mind is still producing weird dreams and ideas and ways of being. So I would work on your conditioning, your habit, your karma, the way that you see the world, as well as listening to non-duality, that freedom is beyond all of that. When you clear up the cage, then the external world, so when you clear up the person, I don't mean to call it a cage, actually, that's derogative, but when you clear up the person, then your external world will change. You have problems flowing in life because of the way you see life. There's maybe beliefs in there that doesn't feel worthy, that doesn't feel like it can, that feels insignificant, that feels like bad things will happen if it does that. Sorry to be the popper of bubbles, or the popper of balloons. Like attracts like, or karma in Eastern tradition. And karma means that if you do or think this, then this or that will happen. Or like attracts like. So if you're thinking that you're not worthy, then life will keep showing you not worthy. If you think you are worthy, then life will show you're worthy. But none of it's real. To believe that you're worthy, you have to actually have this deep knowing of who you are. Because you couldn't think that you're worthy on the human level. It's like you have to know that you are presence, that you are love. Like on the human level, if you think that you are worthy, you'll always feel limited. So to be in that flow of believing you're worthy, you have to know who you are. In a way, to clean up the person, you have to know non-duality. I suspect this is why therapy only works to an extent. I meet lots of people where they say therapy doesn't work, and I suspect that's because there's no teaching of your limitless nature, and so you're always trying to find the answer in limitation. That is the key. And limitlessness is love. Feel it, you know it to be true when you feel it. That any bounds, any ideas you put on anything always crushes it. It's when you look at it with wonder, with not knowing, with innocence, that it becomes magical. That's why we love fantasy and magic, because it takes our mind out of what we suspect and what we think. Hi, Jason. Hi, Lisa. Some speakers, including yourself, trying to point people towards realization by saying to just notice what is here that never changes. Sometimes I feel like I got a glimpse of what is spoken of, but then it's gone. This seems like something that requires effort, and I end up feeling like I'm not doing it right, or that I don't want it enough, and it gets frustrated and give up. Is this just part of the play and the realization awakening inevitable and unavoidable? Sorry for the long question. Thank you. That's not a long question, Jason, and that's a really great question to ask, and thank you for asking it. So you're getting the absolute and the relative confused. So you have glimpses that don't belong to you, and they're beautiful, and they seem to arise when you question yourself. And when you question yourself, there's like something that goes zoop, and suddenly steps out of the side of the box of you, out of the limitation of you, and there's something magical and mysterious and infinite known. And then you think it's to do with you, and then you go into your personality structure and habits. The way that you think, I feel it requires effort, and I end up feeling like I'm not doing it right, or that I don't want it enough, and I get frustrated and give up. That is a habit of your personality that arises. So that's not something that's just applicable to this. This is a habit that you will have. I know you most probably don't believe me. You're like, no, I really think this about it. But we think in habits and we think in patterns. So this is a pattern that you're used to. This is something that your parents will have taught you, and your genetics will be susceptible to, and your society will have taught you, and you believe it to be true. And this will affect all areas of your life. So when anything becomes too difficult, that's the road you'll go down and believe. It's a disbalance of the solar plexus. So the chakra right here, I will demonstrate. This chakra, it's a disbalance of this chakra. Look at my lovely mandala that I have on. This chakra. So the rib cage is there and here. And that chakra is the solar plexus, and it is the feelings of feeling like you can't control things, that you're out of control, that life is meaningless, purposeless, that you can't do it, that you'll fail. It's repressed anger. It's frustration, it's a a sense that you can't do something. An imbalance is a sense of feeling powerful, like you can do it, like you can do something, that you will succeed, that you are capable and that you're strong. It's a very masculine point, maybe. That doesn't mean it's for men, it just means that it's masculine quality. And it's that area. So when you begin to feel that, that's the area that'll be disbalanced, and you believe it to be true. And then you get lost in it. And so your infiniteness, so there was this infiniteness that suddenly went poof outside and you were limitless. And then that thought started playing, and then you contracted into that story of you, which will be a typical story of you. And you'll experience this in all areas of your life. We're like these traffic lights of chakras that light up. Like boo, 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 boo. And if they're out of balance, and what I mean by out of balance, like too much in the negative, we're meant to have negative feelings. It's not wrong to have negative feelings, but when you're too much stuck in that, then you get stuck in very negative stories about yourself. And that's the negative of the solar plexus. So now you want to know how to fix it. Number one, how to fix it. Number one, this is the body, the mind. It's the body and the mind. And you have to know that fixing happens. It's not you that fixes. Fixing happens like magic. So the thoughts and the ideas come up to do this, and it doesn't actually belong to a localized you. It's something that's playing in you. There's something that knows this is happening. So you think that you've got to fix yourself and it's your effort. It's actually a grace of God, and it's something that happens. It's beautiful. So knowing that. Number two, you have to identify that feeling. So when you start having those thoughts, identify where it is in the body. Notice that you're having those thoughts throughout the day and that it's a pattern of yours. And feel it in the body. So when you're around someone, you start feeling bad, notice the stories you're telling yourself and where you feel it in your body. So pay close attention to that. The next part is connect it to your life experiences. Like, ask yourself questions. When did I begin to think this? Do I feel this around people in particular? Like, does my dad think this? Does my mum think this? Did I grow up in that attitude? Did I think it at school? Be interested in how that formed. Pay attention. Notice it through your day when you begin to tell yourself that. Then, once you've established that, you know that and you can feel it and you're not in denial and you're not bullshitting yourself, that it's other people's fault, that you're never going to make it, when you really have got to the innocent feeling and and there's a truth there, then you can begin to recondition yourself when you're ready. And the way the reconditioning happens is then you think, what is it that I want? So say in that situation of liberation, you say to yourself, I want to be free. I want to know my limitless nature. Already in establishing what you want will make you feel better and more positive. Already in establishing it, not in a lackful way. If you begin to go into a lackful way, you've still not got to know the feelings well enough. You've got to go back a stage. But in a beautiful way as that begins to take over. So not as a lackful, like I'm never going to make it. Like if it's feeling, when you say I want to be free and it feels not good in the body, it's because you still don't believe, or that you're still not admitting to yourself that's a part of you that doesn't believe it can happen. So then it's like, I want to be free. I want to know my limitless nature. I want to see beyond the ideas of self. And all of that, when you're ready, it will begin to make you feel expansive when you say it. And then you begin to say, I am it. I am free. I am safe. I am limitless. I am the creator. And this will make you feel expansive and beautiful. And then in that saying, then it's, I am. Then here you are. It's the way it is. Like when you're saying this to yourself and you're rebalancing yourself, you're losing all these false ideas that are saying you can't be it. So you're losing the seeking energy. And in losing the seeking energy, then you become the infinite possibilities. This is a tantra practice, believe it or not. I can't be bothered to explain now why it's a tantric practice. Tantra doesn't mean sex, but it's a practice from Tantra. I seem to invent it in this life, that Tantra practice. I didn't get taught it in this life, but I suspect that in previous lives, this bundle of energy in some way had some tantric teaching. But I've read about Tantra, and it's pretty obvious that it comes from Tantra. Okay. I've read about Tantra. I've also done courses on Tantra. Dear Lisa, hi Bia. Nice to hear from you. Hello, and nice to see you back live. We love Khaleesi and your song. I enjoy all the little funny moves you do online. That makes you unique and human. Lots of love. Oh, thanks, Bia. That's really sweet that you see that. P.S. I have listened to all the videos from India, and each talk was just so beautiful. I enjoy everything you say. You point to the truth in a very fresh and loving way. I'm so glad to have you. Thank you for everything again. Love you. Oh, thanks, Bia. Yeah, they were super magical, the talks in India. It's India. India is magical. Hey, Thomas, Lisa. Like attracts like. So very true. William. Hey, William. Hey, good to see you again. Nice to see you, William. Over the course of my life, I've become real sensitive to my feelings. I've been sitting with the blockage in my torso, and at times I can really see through it, but it always comes back. The identification with it still there as it's at its roots. Thalo, I feel like a little kid being forced to wait in the car at Disney World. I just can't wait to be free, even though I already am. I just feel very stuck, like my head is above the ground, but my body is stuck in the mud. Please help. Over the course of my life. William, you look super young. You look like you're in the early 20s, and you're like, over the course of my life, I've become very sensitive to my feelings. Yeah, wait till you get to 40 and then say that again. I think that you're telling me a story in order to validate that solar plexus dysfunction, and you're not aware that you're in a story now. You're not stuck. This is all story. Just feel it. Just let it be there. And this expectation of arriving at non-duality, give up. Give it up. This is where you are. This is where you are. This is non-duality. That expectation is just pushing it further and further away. Come friends with now. Now, the beauty that's here. The feeling of the bum on the seat, the feet on the floor, the hands, the face, the sounds, my voice, the eyes, here, 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 here. And then when you're 40, come back and say that again, or 50 or 60. Over the course of my life, I mean, I might be wrong. William, you might be, like 70 years old and you look like you're 20. But in your picture, maybe it's like a false advertisement. You're like 70, but you got a camera angle that's like, ha ha, makes me look like I'm 20. Well, that's the end of the questions. You see, I'm getting super quick at this. Super quick. That's it. Done. I freed everybody. Everybody is free. We can go home now free. We're not anything. We're nothing, but we're everything. No thing, but everything. Isn't that fantastic? We're all sitting here free. There's nothing experiencing life. There's nobody inside the body experiencing life. There is just experiencing happening, and it's boundless, and it's huge, and it's infinite, and it doesn't belong to anyone, but yet everybody is it. Everything is it. So everything that appears is your nature. It's not the other way around, that you're somebody inside the body and life is happening to you and you're some poor victim. Everything is that nature. Everything. No, you didn't answer me. Lame, lame, lame. Hi, Juna. Yeah, but Juna... Juna, I can't say things to you online because it will hurt you too much. And it's rude for me now to give you a personal message to everybody else. So it's like, I'm just going to keep everything else out and I'm going to write to you. I can tell you what will stop the diarrhea. But I don't want to shame you or embarrass you in any way. Some things are better unsaid. Dear Lisa, hello Alexander. So, is everything there is amalgam? There is this I can't read that word. Amalgamata of feelings, sensations and thoughts. Is there any correlation with the story? Yeah. You writing it again is not going to help me. I can't read that word. That's my dyslexia. I'm sorry. I most probably know the word, but phonetically write it. Agglomeraty. What would you put there? Anyway, I know what you mean. Is there any correlation with the story? Yeah, of course. Your feelings and your thoughts come from the particular pattern of you. So yeah, of course. So now if you're feeling disempowered, that's because of the apparent story, because you genetically were born with that maybe predisposition, and maybe in past lives it formed, and then in this life you maybe have parents or society which put you down, and then there was an identification with it in the apparent story. So then that means it can be undone in the apparent story as well. But it's not that that person gets undone and then becomes free, because that person is all thoughts and ideas. There is nobody that becomes free. Your essence is freedom. But it needs to be undone in order for this message to be heard. It needs to be undone to an extent in order to be seen that you aren't that story. When it's too strong, it just feels, you feel hypnotized by your waking dream of life. You can't see life for what it is. You see your interpretation of life, your story of life. Alagam. Hey Fatima, nice to see you. I saw your friend in Tiruvannamalai. I forgot her name, but she gave me some sweets and some saffron. I don't know how to cook with saffron, but it's very pretty. Dear Lisa, it was great, the opportunity you gave us for being with you in some retreat sessions. Lots of love and gratitude. Glad to write to you and watch you live like this again. Nice. This is from Alexandra. But is there never think this that is being said, like what you just said about past lives, then immediately a story? Yeah, it's an apparent story. And you're identified with that apparent story of you. There's an energetic identification with that apparent story of you. that you feel like you're sitting here listening to me. But who is sitting here listening to me? Who? Who hears these words? Who sees me? So you think that you're sitting there listening and seeing me, but is there any inside or outside of your consciousness? So you think, okay, I'm sitting here and I am conscious of Lisa. I'm sorry about all the movement of this table. I keep knocking it. So you think you're sitting there and you are conscious of Lisa. So you're inside the head conscious of Lisa, and you believe that your consciousness stops here. There is a world out there and Lisa appears there, and in some way they meet your consciousness. But what's your actual experience? Am I inside and outside of consciousness? If I was outside of your consciousness, surely I wouldn't exist. If there was an outside of your consciousness, surely you wouldn't be conscious of it. Like, doesn't the words imply that? I am appearing inside your consciousness, right? If I was appearing outside, how would you be conscious of it? How? It wouldn't exist. You can only know things that you're conscious of, so therefore everything appears in your consciousness. So you aren't somebody or something that's limited inside this body. Everything is your consciousness, and that's who you are. And you're this huge, big expanse that isn't limited, because consciousness isn't limited. If you try and find it and bottle it, you can't. Things appear. You by consciousness. Life is conscious. It's here, it's free here, it's right here, it's nothing and it's everything. It's right here. The intimacy of being, the intimacy of what is, and it doesn't hold on to anything. Everything's gone. If it's not here anymore, it's gone. It's no longer in consciousness. It's gone, it's gone, it's gone. Consciousness holds on to nothing. There is a memory that appears of a past thing that's happened, but that doesn't mean that it's actually happened. It doesn't mean that there's actually been a past. It means that there is an image appearing now in consciousness that's always here, always present, never holding on to time. And that's your essence. Your essence is free. That's why nobody's ever actually suffered. It's an illusion that somebody suffered. And this is who you are, and you've forgotten it. You are consciousness. Consciousness is your birthright. Every thought, every image, every idea, everything about you has come and gone. Everything. But consciousness has never left. Have you ever had an experience without consciousness? No, there would be nothing happening. There has always been consciousness, and that consciousness is only ever here. Here, 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 here. And it's so free. It's nothing and everything. HH. Hello, Henry. I love the name Henry. I had an animal called Henry once. Oh no, I didn't. It was my friend's. She had a guinea pig that was called Henry. I forgot the other one's name. Hey Lisa, even though awareness and reality is always functioning without problem, I often subtly feel and think there is something wrong. Yeah, it's a personality thing. That's the way your parents have taught you to be and the way society has taught you to be. And your brain functions in that way and your body is responding in that way. And you can condition it. And I can tell you now, and I tell in other videos, and we can do a one-to-one session, whatever you like. And I can point it out to you again and again of how to recondition yourself. How can I know my limitless nature when my entire experience gets filled up with apparent evidence that I am not limitless? Some of the evidence, for example, would be thoughts that say, this is so unprofound. That always makes me frown. Unprofound makes me frown. Yeah, it's a habit. And it's a training that your body-mind's got into, of responding to life with limitation. Your evidence actually is that this life is not limited. Like right now, where is limitation? Only in your mind, which seems to be limited. So if there can just be a session of belief, then there can be a seeing that your nature is one day, your nature is infinite. And that's kind of what life is. It's always expanding. Like in the apparent world of things, it's always expanding. Like they say the universe is an expansion. So the mind, the personality, the thought system is an expansion. And the only way that's okay for you on the human level is to know that your nature is consciousness. Because on the human level, when you identify with the human, you want to remain the same. And that's in contradiction with your nature. Like the human gets afraid and then it's like, I want to stay the same. I don't want to expand. I don't want to try new things. I want to stay safe. Hey, Fatima. One question. You told someone in your retreat to listen to non-duality as much as she can, even when she gets bored of it. Is this suggestion for us all? Or was it for that particular situation? Just for that situation, I mean. I think that listening to non-duality, like listening to what makes your heart open and sing, is really important. Yeah, and listening, I love this subject, so I'm really super supportive of it, but it's all dependent person to person. Henry, thanks. Thank you. This is the hands Henry did. Thank you. I see God in you. That's what this namaste from India means. It's nice to translate it into English or to your actual language, because namaste, even though we see that as respect and we see that as a nice sign, like actually saying it in English, I don't know how you'd say it in French, but to say it in English, that's super beautiful. I see God in you. Sorry, I just heard Khaleesi running down the garden. I see God in you. That's beautiful. That's like how the Indians greet each other. I see God in you. I'm just going to go and look to see what Khaleesi did. But you can come with me, actually, because I got a portable today. Yeah, I'm going to turn the lights on. I can still answer questions while checking on the dog. This is a great thing, the portable. The portable. I don't want her to bug the neighbours. Hey, what are you up to? Hey? Ça va? Oui? Very good. Look, she's doing her. There's something out there. It's the cats, I can tell by that intense smelling. The cats love to play games with her. Okay, she's okay. It's a cat. Okay, back we go. Hi, Michael P. Michael P is asking me about my opinion of a certain drug. I'm not a drug expert. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm allowed to talk about that on YouTube. I don't know. It's most probably best not to do drugs. Like, once or twice they can open your mind, but the drug of life is enough, eh? Vlad. What do you think about the work of Byron Katie and investigating our thoughts? I think it's fantastic, and I think she's a beautiful person. And I like her work. I think it's really good to see. Yeah. And you will all find your perfect path. Like, you don't need to worry about it. Like, you think that you are separate and it's your job to find the right path, but everything is happening perfectly. You come across just the right teachers, just the right experiences. I don't know if they try 5 Yo. intense non-duality awakening. Boom, boom, boom. We're on a mission through of the universe. I've forgotten the song. Of the universe. Boom, blah, 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 blah. Intense awakening, I thought it was. Namaste, I see God in you. Lisa, can you have a retreat in the eastern part of Europe? I notice they're more in the west. I did do one in Romania a few years back. Aye, Captain, I will speak to my Romanian friend and maybe we do it again in Romania. I tend to do it in the south of Spain because I found a retreat centre that I love going to that's a really great space and it's really reasonably priced, so it's good for people that are rich and for poor, or not poor but just on lower incomes. Poor always has such negative meanings. I don't mean it like that. I've got to recondition myself to say lower incomes, and I like that, and it's only a 14-hour drive from where I live, so I can take my dog. But I just think it's a beautiful spot. It's like on the cliffs behind Malaga, not on the cliffs, on the mountain edge behind Malaga, and it overlooks a beautiful view, and it's really spaced out, and it's quiet, and we can make loads of noise, and we have these beautiful rooms to do the workshops in. So I tend to go there because I like it. I like it. Like it, like it, like it, like. I'm from Romania too, yeah. The lady that helps me with organisation is Romanian, and she organised a retreat in Romania a couple of years back. And there's another place that she suggests, which is a really beautiful spa. Yes. Do you know anything about Kundalini energy? I have been having experiences of what I believe to be vibrations up the spine. I don't know so much about it, but chakra work and Kundalini energy is related. I think it's like an energetic awakening of your chakras, so a shifting of the energies in your chakras, and like your body coming into balance again. But it's better to speak to an expert about that. The live stream from a Kundalini expert. Everyone's always asking me to recommend all these different teachers, and I'm like, Kundalini expert. I do not know of any Kundalini experts, but I'm sure if you type it into Google, Google will know. Google has a very big brain. I like Mr. Google. But I'm going a little bit loopy now, so maybe I should stop the talk. There's not very many questions left either. But when I begin to get really bonkers, then if there's no questions for me to answer and know where to direct this bonker energy, then it means that I'm going to start singing and dancing and doing all kinds of things. I can feel it coming on that I want to sing. Yep. Okay, we're going to do a sing song. I should end it, but no, I'm going to sing. We got a E, ooh, a E, ooh, E, ooh. This is the EC song, the Khaleesi song. A E, ooh, E, ooh. Now here she goes. Just look at this dog, she's so sweet. A E, ooh, E, ooh, a E, ooh, E, ooh, a E. She's pretending to ignore me. E. Hello. Oh. She's on a very important mission of protect the house. Very important, from cats, from birds, from burglars. We don't have burglars here, but from any person that comes into the premises. She is in protection. Very serious job. She takes it very seriously. Very sweet. Don't you, EC? You are guard. You are the best guard dog there is, aren't you, EE? She likes to lay on the balcony out there so she can be alerted to everything. Oh, look at you. Aren't you beautiful? Okay, guys, I will just carry on like this if I'm not stopped, so I'm going to stop myself. There doesn't seem to be any more questions. I love you and I see God in you, and I will be broadcasting again on Sunday, so you're welcome to join me. I wish everybody well. Thanks, guys. Bye. Oh, I forgot how you stop these on the iPhone. Okay. Okay, it's just there. Bye.